The Indian government is revising textbooks and creating controversy for its choices on what to leave out. Gone are references to Gandhi's opposition to Hindu nationalism and chapters on the Mughal dynasty of Muslim rulers. Contemporary events being cut include the 2002 Gujarat riots, violence that took place on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's watch when he was then the state's chief minister. His ruling party says these changes are necessary, blaming the former ruling National Congress Party and leftist historians for curricula that it says have been divisive. DW's Adil Bhat reports from Delhi.
It is the new academic term at the school in New Delhi. These 12th grade students are getting their first introduction to revised textbooks on history and politics. Students will no longer find the full background behind Mahatma Gandhi's assassin. Some chapters on hundreds of years of Muslim rule in India and references to the 2002 Gujarat riots, in which over 1,000 people, mostly Muslims, were killed when Prime Minister Modi headed the state. School principal Pooja Malhotra is visiting the classroom today to brief the students about the changes in the curriculum.
There are some deleted portions. Yes, it's quite good.
She supports the textbook changes.
I feel, everybody knows that Nathuram Godse has, killed Gandhiji. But, since it's related to the Hindu-Muslim, so it has been creating a lot of hue and cry. It has been deleted. I feel it is good. The textbook change is a good change which has been done. The curriculum has been improved.
Her school is just one of many that are mandated to introduce the new curriculum. In 23 states across India, thousands of classes will study revised textbooks that critics say present a Hindu nationalist vision of the country. The revisions have sparked a national debate. In New Delhi's Jawaharlal Nehru University, regular gatherings are taking place to discuss ways of rolling back the textbook's edits. Today, students are gathering to attend a public lecture by historian Suchita Mahajan. Suchita has been teaching at the university for more than 3 decades. She says the revisions made by India's National Council of Educational Research and Training are an attempt to weaponize and erase history to suit the government's political agenda.
This present regime and its ancestors, they have made it an ideological weapon or tool in their project, political project and intellectual, cultural project of turning this country into a Hindu-dominant country.
BJP spokesperson Tina Sharma strongly disagrees. She believes the changes were necessary corrections to what she says was until now a pro-Muslim curriculum. A curriculum she puts entirely at the feet of the opposition Congress party.
We've taken off the names of those people who were definitely, fought against India and done injustice to India, but they have been glorified in the past books of history written by Congress government.
Critics of the revisions fear that by rewriting history, a whole generation of students will grow up with a distorted and incomplete understanding of their nation. But one thing is certain, the battle for India's past is very much a battle for India's future.
Joining us is Yogendra Yadav, former advisor to India's National Council of Educational Research and Training, which produces textbooks for the federal level. Thank you for joining the program. Now, just to give our viewers who may not know too much about India another example, I understand that information about Darwin and evolution have also been removed from the exam syllabus. So what is going on here with all these changes?
Funny, you might think, comical, you might say, but what's happening is actually deeply tragic in many ways, because textbooks are being rewritten. I would not say rewritten, these are being mutilated, they are being scrapped, they are being torn apart by the current regime as per its ideological taste. Now, it must be remembered that these textbooks are the books made by the federal government, which are not mandatory, but it so happens that in most states of India, these are the books which have been followed. All these books were very extensively rewritten in year 2007, 9, 5, 6, and 7. And what was unusual about those textbooks at that time, and I was involved with that, is that these books were very non-partisan. These books followed some of the best pedagogical practices. But ever since the current regime by Mr. Modi has come into power in year 2014, they have been tinkering with these books. Every year, something or the other keeps happening. And what we have seen now is one of the most extensive changes, pruning to suit the ideological taste. This has happened extensively in history, in political science, and as you mentioned, in science as well.
I don't want to rehash something that happened a long time ago, but I understand you resigned a decade ago under criticism for some content you did remove. So it seems inevitable that people of different political persuasions will want to contest the contents of school books. But it sounds like you think what is happening now is somehow worse. And if so, why?
In our case, we resigned because we wrote something, the textbooks, and the minister refused to defend the textbooks in the parliament. This was under the previous regime. And we thought it is only appropriate that books that have been written should be defended on the floor of the parliament. When the minister did not defend, we resigned. But that was under the previous regime. Textbooks all over the world are contested. There's absolutely no doubt. Because history is contested, because the way to contest the present is to contest the past. That's exactly what's happening, and I'm sure that's been the case in Germany as well. Now, what the current regime is doing is to take out selectively parts from our past, from our older past and from our recent past, which do not suit it. For instance, the fact that the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, was assassinated. And he was assassinated by someone who had a right-wing ideological leanings, which are very close to the ideology of the current political regime. Now, this is a fact. The current government wants to take out this fact. Just imagine, the father of the nation was assassinated, and they want to whitewash the fact that he was assassinated by someone with an ideology. This is what is creating the problem. They want to carefully obliterate, quietly erase the facts of the influence of Islam or Mughal rulers on Indian history. You cannot completely take it away, but every year they take out one thing or the other to ensure that India's history is seen mainly as a history of one single religion.
How do students themselves feel about these changes?
That's best to ask the students. But I guess textbooks do not translate themselves directly to the students. It all depends on the teachers. It depends on the schools. It depends on the examination system. But notwithstanding all that, the fact is that if there is a book lying on your table, the book would bring you certain facts, even if the teacher is not very enthusiastic about saying it. And in a culture like India, where in large number of homes, textbook is the only book available in that house, the fact that textbook brings text matters. So the student is not just the student, it's also parents. It's about the household having certain facts. That is being removed. Yes, students feel that much of the content is being taken away. I'm sure they feel confused more than ever before. If you want to delete one phase of India's history, students will feel rattled, confused. But I'm sure it's best to ask them directly.
Yogendra Yadav, thank you so much for joining us.